Fuel here, and welcome back to another day in the arena. As today, we're gonna be showcasing a Maestros slash GRIXIS mid-range deck. I'm gonna be piloting for you guys today, like I said, in the Pioneer best of one metagame. And before I go ahead and hop into the deck guide and the explanation and all of that and the gameplay. I just want to apologize for the lack of uploads these past couple of days. I have been very busy with stuff behind the scenes, and I don't want to go into specifics of that. But I just want to say that I thank you all for your patience. I know it's a bit hard for me to go ahead and squeeze the uploads and all of that stuff, but that's it. We're gonna go ahead and what do you call that? We're gonna go ahead and continue. So, like I said, we're gonna be showcasing a Maestros slash Grixis mid-range deck for you guys today. Now, Grixis is a color combination, like I said, of blue, black, and red, and I got a very spicy list ready to go for you guys today, especially in the Pioneer best of one metagame. Um, this deck I have cobbled together for a couple of days, basically a couple of days ago, English, and I have two variants of Grixis mid-range that I got for you guys today. But the one that I'm going to be showing to you guys today in the live recording session is the deck that I'm going to be taking to essentially go ahead and do a try-hard session. And what do I mean by try-hard? I'm going to be using this deck and piloting it potentially to basically elevate myself to higher ranks because I am in the gutter, I am in the dumpster ranks of bronze, and I want to go back to my higher rank status because funny enough, this tricolor combination, aka Grixis, which is again blue, black, and red, is the uh tricolor combination that I used, funny enough, to reach mythic rank back in the day during, I believe, if my memory serves correctly, around the time of War of the Spark up until Theros Beyond Death. Around that time. For, I don't exactly remember, but I know it's around that time. War of the Spark up until Theros Beyond Death. And now with the influx of new cards added to the game of Magic the Gathering Arena ever since that time, I decided to go ahead and venture back into Grixis mid-range. First of all, we're going to go ahead and showcase or basically talk about first the deck that I used to get out of the dumpster ranks. First of which is a Grixis Reanimator deck I like to call Nail, because we're gonna make every single player in the ladder kneel, especially in a deck that is absolutely backbreaking. Ladies and gentlemen, once this thing loads, let me explain the idea behind the Grixis Reanimator playstyle. And by the way, for context, I love Reanimator strategies in card games, more specifically here in Magic the Gathering. This is the deck list right here. It is essentially a more combo variant of a reanimator deck because we're playing this in Pioneer. This is essentially standard plus plus. So that includes sets from the past, like it starts in Guilds of Ravnica, then it basically goes on to the current iteration of standard we have now, and this is the deck list, like my first iteration of a Grixis like mid-range slash combo variant that I basically piloted to get to where I am now. So this deck is, oh my god, this deck is absolutely insane. This deck is essentially a mid-range deck that has a combo element. And what do I mean by combo element? The combo element is we are basically a reanimator deck that is splashing a bit of mid-range in there in case the combo doesn't work. And what I mean by like mid-range, quote unquote, well, that's because we have all nickel bolas here at the top and in the middle end of the curve. For instance, we have nickel bolas Ravager, nickel bolas Dragon God, and nickel bolas God Pharaoh uh, at the middle and the top end portions of the curve. And the early game is comprised of very important sacrifice, or should say discard outlets, to send the big boys from the hand to the grave. So that includes the likes of Chartacourse, Demand Answers, which is a new card from the murders at the Karloff Manor, a 2 mana, 1 and a red instant speed spell that uh, as an additional cost to cast the spell, you sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. So in this case, we get to discard a card in order to draw two, which is very good in a list like this one, wherein we are basically sending big boy dudes from the hand to the grave that we can resurrect them, thanks to the likes of Zombify, which is a recent addition to the format from the Foundations expansion. 4 mana, 3 and the black sorcery spell that says return to creature card from the grave to the battlefield. So, the idea is very, straightforward. We have a mid-range list, quote unquote, that aims to have a combo degenerate game plan with Zombify alongside Gaunt of Revival. 5 mana, slow speed slash sorcery spell from War of the Spark that says turn target creature card from grave to the battlefield. It gains haste until the next turn. So, in theory, we can send these big boy creatures, like for instance, Age of the Treachery, Itali, Primal Conqueror, and GRIXIS, Maw of Flames, from our hand to the grave, or in other cases, like for instance, with Thought Erasure, we can go ahead and send them from deck to grave so that we can revive them using Zombify or Bond of Revival. Alongside them, we have Kiora Rising Tide, again from Foundations. 3 mana, 3 tower, 2 health, legendary merfolk that upon entering the battlefield, you get to draw 2, then you get to discard 2, which is very good for a list like this that wants to send its big boy creatures from hand to grave, which is very nice. And speaking of checking out stuff in games, we have the infamous Cruel Claw uh, uh, that goes along with our reanimation game plan. 3 mana, 1 a black and a red for a 3 power, 3 health Weasel Mercenary from the Bloomburrow expansion that has menace, and whenever this creature attacks and deals combat damage to a player, you get to exile cards from the top of the deck until you exile a non-land card. When you cast a card, that card rather, by discarding a card rather than paying the full mana value of the card that you want to cast, which is broken, absolutely broken, especially in a list like this wherein we have a what do you call it, a reanimation game plan, i.e. Zombify or Bond Revival to bring back some absolutely massive big sticks from the grave back to the battlefield, which is very nice. But I found out that this deck, even though it's very good, it has quite a lot of trouble to go ahead and be a consistent uh, combo deck for the best of one Pioneer metagame. The best of one Pioneer metagame is more accustomed to more mid-range strategies. So even though I like this iteration of the list, I decided to go ahead and do an upgrade of this bad boy into the deck that I'm going to be featuring for you guys today for real this time, and that is Kneel Before the Dragon God. This deck is absolutely bonkers in its uh, creation, and boy oh boy, it is a fun. It is a blast to play. So, what is this deck? this deck is essentially the lessons that I learned from the previous deck that I showcased, uh, recently, or like a couple of minutes ago, but make it more competitive, make it uh, more accustomed to my liking. Let's just put it that way, English. This deck is a more streamlined version of the mid-range deck and the more updated version of the mid-range archetype, post Avatar The Last Airbender. And oh boy, Avatar The Last Airbender is such a good set. Oh my goodness. I love Avatar. I love me some Avatar The Last Airbender. I watched Avatar The Last Airbender back in the day, and I still respect Avatar The Last Airbender even to this very day. Even to this very day, I put that show at the top echelon of the shows that I highly recommend you guys go ahead and watch. It is just that good of a television show. It is wow. That's all I can say. Wow. This deck is essentially a homage to the mid-range decks of the past that make it more competitive. And what I mean by competitive, well, basically, I took the concept of the reanimator deck, English, and make it more, uh, what do you call it? More grounded, more balanced. And we have some interaction at every single point it occurs, and some effective creatures as well. Uh, we have Deadly Position, which is a new card, like I said, from the Avatar expansion, that upon casting, as an additional cost to cast the spell, either pay an additional 4 mana, or you get to sacrifice an artifact or creature to destroy target creature. So this one would be targeted towards the opponent. This card is very good, especially when we combine this with the likes of the Dread Horde Butcher, the MVP of my previous iteration of GRIXIS midrange. Rock those colors, red and black, for a zombie warrior from War at the Start that has haste, and whenever Dreadhorde Butcher deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, get to put a +1 counter on the Butcher, and when this creature dies, it deals damage equal to its attack to any target, which is very nice, especially when you combine him with the likes of the Deadly Precision, because this combo is deadly. Because Dreadhorde Butcher, upon death, will at the very least deal 2 damage to the opponent. Uh, and if we have a Deadly Precision on hand, we can go ahead actually kill 2 birds with 1 stone, aka 2 creatures with 1 spell, which is huge, absolutely huge. And we have as well interaction in the form of counter spells with Dispelling Exhale. Dispelling Exhale is 2 mana, 1 and a blue, for a common rarity instant speed spell from Tarkir Dragonstorm, one of the more recent Magic the Gathering sets that came to Arena. And as an initial cost to cast the spell, you may behold a dragon. Behold means you get to reveal a dragon card either on the battlefield or in your hand, which is very nice. And it is essentially a better version of a counter spell. It says here, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2 mana, but if a dragon was beheld, aka if you either show them a dragon that's on the battlefield or in your hand, you have to counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 mana instead, which is backbreaking. Absolutely backbreaking, especially against the vast majority of combo decks and control decks in the Pioneer Best of One metagame, and especially as well against creature decks. Creature decks hate uh, getting their stuff countered, which is very nice, especially in a such a combo heavy metagame and such a mid range metagame as well. Counter spells are like the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop when it comes to interaction. And speaking of interaction, it has two copies of Go to the Throat and two copies of Power Word Kill, which allows us to go ahead and take care of some problematic creatures on the other side of the board, which is very nice. And then to round things off with the new additions from Avatar, it has Bender's Water Skin. It's essentially a mana rock, or a mana rock for this sort of strategy. 3 mana, for an artifact that taps to add a mana of any color, and you get to untap this artifact during each other player's untap step, aka your opponent's turn. I'm working and or designing a sideboard for this for the best of three metagame. But for now, this card is really good. And then we have a dragonic and zombie endgame at the middle and the top end of the curve. It directs the magnetic calcite, another recent addition from Tarkir Dragonstorm, 4 mana, 4 power, 5 health dragon creature that upon entering, it has flying, yet to destroy target non-basic land on opponent controls, and its controller searches their deck for a basic land and puts it onto the battlefield tapped with a stun counter on it, which is very huge. We are basically denying them a mana source. And denying a mana source in Magic is absolutely backbreaking, especially against combo decks and control decks, because they want to keep their interaction up and or their removal up to interact with us. So having a way to go ahead and essentially shut them down is huge, absolutely massive. And then they still have the Nicol Bolas package with the two copies of the Ravager, two copies of the Dragon God. Praise be, make them kneel. Ha 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 ha. And one copy of the God Pharaoh at the top end of the curve. And speaking of dragons, we have ways of card advantage with the Bone Horde Dracosaur. I played with this card back in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan early access trainer event, and this card has not disappointed. 5 mana for a 5 power, 5 health dinosaur dragon, excuse me, that is essentially a way for us to get rather card advantage onto the opponent or over the opponent English. This card allows us to go ahead and essentially quote unquote cycle through the deck without drawing them, which is very nice, especially since there are a few decks out there that run draw disruption spells, like for instance Narset and all of that stuff. So the Dracosaur is very huge in a list like this, wherein we can either get a treasure token or a dinosaur token, aka another way to go ahead and pressure the opponent since we are a mid-range deck. And speaking of pressure, alongside the God Pharaoh, we have his subordinate, aka Liliana Dreadhorde General, which is a staple in any sort of mid-range deck, and thank God she has been reprinted in Foundations. Originally, like I said, from War of the Spark, a 6 mana mythic rare legendary Liliana Planeswalker that upon entering, we get to create a total black zombie creature token. For -4 ability, she makes both of us, both me and the opponent, sacrifice two creatures of their choice, which has excellent synergy with the likes of the Butcher here, and mainly those are the two abilities that we care about in this list. And uh, she has a passive ability that says another creature we control die, you get to draw a card, and that goes for each creature that has died, especially on our side of the board, which is very nice. Our mana base is pretty much straightforward. We have the full playset of the blue-black Verge Land, which is a new addition to the format via Duskmorn, House of Horrors. We have a very nice mana base now, especially since I have the full art Final Fantasy lands with 2 islands, 2 swamps, and 2 mountains. I made room for a couple of creature lands in the deck with 1 Hall of the Storm Giants and 2 Den of the Bugbear, and that's essentially the deck list right there. The rest of the mana base is essentially just all lands in the Maestro's color combination. So let's go ahead and jump into some games with this deck and see how we do. I hope you guys are excited for more Magic the Gathering and gaming in general, because I'm gonna be working my ass off for the next couple of days. Wherein uh, I have new content ready to go for Marvel Snap. Oh boy, I am excited. So, anyways, without any further ado, let's jump into some games and see if we can win some. Because I tested this deck yesterday, last night, and boy oh boy, this deck did not disappoint. I love this deck. This deck is fun. Alright, so game 1 we are up against Iron Dragon, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Iron Dragon. Uh, let's see if we can beat down this guy. Hey, nice platinum color you got there. At least that's platinum or diamond. Anyways, we got a really nice opening hand. We're gonna kick it. We are playing on the new battlefield as well. So yeah, everything is good. Sunshine, rainbows, all that stuff. Alright, I'm gonna take the 2 damage and we're gonna play the Dreadhorde Butcher effective immediately. And we're gonna attack for 1, which is very nice. Because we do wanna cast Nicol Bolas Dragon God if we have the chance. The next turn we're gonna play the Gloom Lake Verge. I believe no, not yet. Because we can play Den of the Bugbear first, and then we attack for 2, and keep go for the throat available. Especially if our opponent drops a wow. Okay, he doesn't do anything. Okay, so clean white. I wonder if this is a enchantment deck or some other variety of Selesnya. Selesnya, by the way, is the guild that represents the green white color combination. Ooh, okay, so it is a swarm deck, or a rant deck English, because this guy has the Dragon Master Outcast, yet another recent reprint from Foundation. As you can see by the star logo at the right hand corner of the card, it says Creature Human Shaman. So that's good to know. We're gonna go ahead and play the Verge, and we're gonna attack for 3. And again, we're gonna keep all of the interaction in the world to go ahead and take care of any pesky unit our opponent may want to drop here on the field. And speaking of the field, I love the fact that we are on a new battlefield, which is very nice. Alright, Roiling Regrowth. So again, they are ramping. They are ramping like crazy here. Alright, so it is a 4-color ramp deck. Interesting. I believe it is our turn to go ahead and play Nicol Bolas Dragon God, one of my favorite planeswalkers in the world of Magic the Gathering. Let's draw a card to go ahead and keep the cards flowing, while essentially discarding the opponent's hand, which is very nice. And in a pinch as well, we can use Deadly Position to go ahead and sacrifice our own Dreadhorde Butcher if there is no unit to target, and just deal unholy damage to the opponent's head. Alright, Cultivate. So my opponent is ramping nicely. Okay, so this is 5-color ramp. good to know. We're gonna go ahead and keep drawing cards, because that's the name of the game for a mid-range deck. Keep the cards flowing and not letting our opponents breathe, which is fantastic. And I believe this is our turn to go on the offensive here. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and what do you call it? Animate our Den of the Bugbearer to go ahead and smack the opponent in the head. And if our opponent were to drop a Sweeper out here, they are gonna be sort of rude awakening. Oh, Lastless? Oh, that's a GG, well played, boy. Bye-bye. Alright, very nice. We're gonna go ahead and finish him off. Easy. Well, that was easy. Alright, very nice. Now, to be fair, last night was a sea of aggro decks, or aggressively slanted decks, and the hand that we got, or that I got rather, last night was, let's just say, underwhelming, which is no bueno, which is no good. Alright, let's go for another spin, for another whirl of this deck, and yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go for another spin with this list. See if we can get to silver rank. Oh, my throat. My throat is killing me. Alright. Oh boy. This hand is pretty good. I'll keep it. It has the black source to cast turn to butcher. Let's just hope I don't butcher it. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and drop the steam vents and call it a turn. Love the alpha avatar, which is very nice, very cute as well. Our opponent leads off with a forest, another green deck. We're gonna go ahead and attack the Dreadhorde Butcher. And good thing we have the deadly position to go ahead and take care of any threat the opponent may have. Now that is a threat. Oh boy. Let's go ahead and attack first. Potentially make them trade. Yep, I knew it. And deal damage on the way out. We're gonna pass because we wanna go ahead and kick out the counter spell. So it is red green now. Yeah, that's a card that we need to counter. Let's submit 0 here, and land is beautiful. Let's play Nicol Bolas. The 4 mana Nicol Bolas, that is. You peasant. An opponent discards a Terramorphic Expanse and another Mossborn Hydra. Okay. Now that's a problem. We need to take care of that, like pronto. So if we don't, our game plan just falls apart. We're gonna go ahead and attack first with Daddy Nick, aka Papa Nick, and then we play Dreadhorde Butcher just to keep the pressure on, and we're gonna go ahead and take care of the Hydra by sacrificing the Butcher. You have done well, my friend. Now you go ahead and increase our damage output. Call that turn. Very nice. A very nice turn. If I do say so myself, it is... Okay, now that's a problem. A Steel Explorer is a problem. A new card as well from Edge of Eternities, one of the more recent Magic Gathering expansions. that basically regenerates or revised rather a long forgotten archetype in the format in the form of a landfall deck. We can go ahead and attack once more with Daddy Nick, Papa Nick, one of my personal favorite planeswalkers in the realm of Magic Gathering. Such a nice planeswalker. I was bummed when rather Nicol Bolas the Ravager got rotated out standard, but that's a story for another time. In the meanwhile, the opponent is just filling out the deck with their lands, and probably this one card is their lifesaver. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and attack with Daddy Nick, and fortunately enough for us, we do have the Dispelling Exile in hand. So if our opponent were to drop a big spell here, we're just gonna simply counter that. I'm not gonna counter the elf though, because the elf is very good in a list like this. Mill's Bristly Bill. Let's see if they are safe. Snakeskin Veil. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and keep that, basically unchecked for now. I need a land here so bad because I don't want to play Nicol Bolas again with what do you call it? With Exile backup, or we can just go ahead and say GG to this guy and go ahead and attack with Daddy Nick for the win. Ha 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 ha. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Man. Good game. Good game, opponent. San LC. Thank you for a great game, but man, GRIXIS is hard to beat. And yes, boys, we leveled up to Bronze Tier 1. I could go another, but I am too pressed for time. Could I go for another one? I believe so. Yeah. Let's go ahead and go for one last time in the ranked ladder, and let's see if we can go ahead and cap this recording off with a win. Let's see if we can cap this recording off with a win. If not, we're just gonna go ahead and end the video off right here and just talk about the deck in its entirety. Okay, thank God. Okay, thank God. Thank God. Alright. Oh, this hand is kinda ass. We're gonna go ahead and mulligan that. This one is much better. Take out Liliana. Because the previous hand was not great, if I do say so myself. We're gonna lead off with a Watery Grave, and our opponent is Mono Black discard. Okay. Well, good thing we have some things to pressure him with, which is very nice, and we can go ahead and discard excess lands we don't need. No problem. We're gonna go ahead and what does it say here? When the opponent discards a land, you add double black. That's fine. We're gonna make him give two black, which is a-okay by me. Another waste not, oh boy. And a bandit's talent. We're gonna go ahead and discard we're gonna discard the butcher now. Okay, nice, nice. We draw into a land, which is very nice. And I am willing to trade here. I am okay to trade here. We're gonna go ahead and take out one of the zombies. Excuse me. And there is the graveyard trespasser. And now I have my own brand of discard. Come on out, Nicol Bolas. Ah. Okay, discards another bandit's talent, which is very nice. And they got the counter. They got the counter with the Shieldred's Edict. And they are just gonna smack us for a billion. Oh boy. And we draw into another land. This is a disaster. I think we're just gonna go ahead and surrender here. Because that is no good. No bueno. It's not good. Go blank, yeah. You can go ahead and have your day. Have your field day, my friend. Well, crap. Well, we're kinda screwed here. Our opponent's at 17, we are at 5, yeah, they're just gonna say good game. And we're gonna get the hell out of here. Yeah, discard decks are our Achilles heel. Because as a mid-range deck, we wanna keep a fully stocked hand. And the discard deck is capable of punishing that strategy. Because they have not only ample removal, but they also have a lot of discard effects to go ahead and take care of the problematic cards in the opponent's hand, which in turn gives them the advantage and gives them a way, or a window rather, to go ahead and just obliterate us. So that's the Achilles heel of a mid-range deck like this one, especially a mid-range deck. Like, for instance, if they played Reanimator, this card completely destroys us, because not only do they have a way of sending or discarding cards from our hand, they also have a way to exile them from the graveyard with the graveyard trespasser and the go blink. But overall though, what I think about this deck, oh, whew, this deck is so fun. This deck is so fun to play. It is a mid-range card gamer's dream come true, and I do love how efficient it is and effective it is against the current iteration of the best of one metagame sans discard deck. But overall though, this deck is fun as hell to play, and I cannot wait to go ahead and try hard with it on our way to Mythic. And yeah, that's all I have to say regarding that. And so, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's session. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, don't hesitate to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you are going to be watching me on Twitch, which I will be back soon, please go ahead and drop a follow down below on Twitch. And that's all I got to say. This is Alex Fuel signing out. Stay safe. May the God, or should I say, may the Lord God above bless you. And I will catch you cats later. This is Alex Fuel. I'm out. Stay safe, spread love, and be kind. Adios, amigos. See you soon.